What is up? Today we made a $500 mistake that is really frustrating. So there's a good amount to go over today. Overall, really decently clean day. And yeah, let's get into it. So I'll start with ES because we had some SMTs going on, right? So you know what? Let's pull up the duo for today real quick and just see. So we had, we have some SMTs going on. So on the bigger time frame, we had, let's get both 15 minutes up. All right, so here's kind of like the 1 hour. We'll go 1 hour on both. All right, so on the 1 hour, we have an SMT on this gap here. As you can see, we have an SMT there. So this gap had been filled or swept or whatever it is by ES, so ES has been up there, and Q hasn't. So that's the first confluence bearish, right? Another confluence from this range, right? We are in deep discount, so we retraced, and we're in a 4 hour fair value gap here that we're holding nice. This whole thing is an imbalance. It's a big daily fair value gap. So we retraced the discount, and we're in a daily fair value gap. So that was another confluences. More on the hourly, we have more SMTs. We have an SMT from this high and here. So we have an SMT here to here. Boom. Then obviously in the same side. And we also get a SMT from these highs after market opens. So there's a lot of bearish confluence, a lot of resistance to go higher, accumulated up here, and then we got a nice expansion move down. So we dropped down to the 15 minute, gets a little bit clearer. And this is where I started forming the bias. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to see, if I'm being honest, going into the day. But notice here at market open, 9:15, 9:30 here, we were a lot lower on the NQ. So over here on NQ, we were a lot lower, right? And we put in pretty much equal lows, almost to the tick. We put in equal lows. So I knew that would become a draw on liquidity. And then we also had all these lows from yesterday that we were just trending up, up and up and up yesterday. So I was marking these out, kind of wondering if we were going to run them at some point today, which obviously we end up running them all. So basically I'll get into when market opened, kind of what was going through my head, and then I'll show you my trade review. But yeah, so this is what I noticed. I really eyed in on this equal lows here, especially when we start getting SMTs. If you notice here, we're actually holding this 15-minute imbalance, 15-minute bearish right there. And ES, again, came up and swept the high, right? At this point, with this sweeping the high, I was kind of bullish at this time because market was moving up. We made this 15-minute gap, and then if we drop lower, so I'll just use NQ now for a second. If we drop lower and onto the 5-minute, we then had this big imbalance here, a 5-minute, that I was looking for context, because if we were bullish, we would hold and then we'd get a setup to go higher, right? And if we were bearish, then we'd probably get a setup. Then we'd probably run through it, which we end up doing. So as you can see, we end up inversing this 5-minute. So I'll actually draw lines for this 5-minute here, just so we can remember. So this is the 5-minute. And yeah, so that's a 5-minute. And then if we drop down to the 1-minute, so that was the context here. We're in this 15-minute. We swept out these highs. We have an SMT on the higher time frame. So we'll go to the 1 minute on ES as well. 5 minute first. So yeah, same thing here. We had a 5 minute fair value gap that if it was bullish, we'd hold and we'd keep going higher and continue the trend. But if we were bearish, then obviously we'd run through it. So I was looking at that to form the real bias. Also, too, at the top here, I did notice an SMT, which kind of gave me more confluence of shorts, right? So here we had the SMT, I believe, from here to here. Yep, we did. So we had an SMT here. Again, just another confluence added on top for shorts, right? Because we just had so many different confluences for shorts, right? And then this is where I end up entering the trade, and I'll go over all of my reasons, and I'll show the execution at the end, and I'll go over I'm going over all the confluences right now. But so we'll just recap real quick. Higher time frame, we have an SMT on the higher time frame. We have an SMT here. We have another SMT off open, which is stronger typically when you get an open SMT. Also, notice this candle is kind of doji, kind of rejection to go higher inside an imbalance where we can expect to reject, which we have previously rejected. There's a lot of stop orders here that we end up sweeping out of the market. So there's a lot of confluence here. This is a little order block, I guess, whatever you want to say, but there's a lot of short confluence. So we sweep the high, and we then drop down, obviously. We then resweep the internal high, so we manipulate the internal high while, so we resweep the internal high while making an SMT. So ES was more bearish at the time. Again, the SMT here. And then we end up putting a low, come back up, displacing through the low. And at this point, I was waiting for this 5 minute and 15 minute to see what would happen. We have this 2 minute bearish fair value gap that I was looking to see for context. If it got ran through, we would be bullish. If it held, we'd be bearish. So pretty simple. Let's see if we can just make a smaller gap just to make it better. Okay, so let's just keep the 2 minute. So the 2 minute was here inside this 5 minute, which is the two red lines. So this is when I'm starting to build context. This is where I was starting to look to place a trade. So we put in a low here, we come up, we come back down, and then this is where the confluence is added up. So we re-swept an internal high. We also create an SMT at the same time, so we can also anticipate this to be a turtle soup. We can anticipate a turtle soup here. As you can see, ES, lower, high here. We hold this fair value gap on ES also. We weren't in any higher time frame fair value gaps, but we did run this 5 minute here. We had already broken below it, so we could have expected London low, right? Because of all the manipulation that had already taken place. So we had an SMT here. That was another nice confluence. So we had SMT, resweep, which I was assuming this would become like a turtle soup. I'm just gonna make it black for just the coloring. So I was expecting a turtle soup. And also this is kind of like it's kind of an order block here, the manipulation order block. And if you're really trying to get technical, then we also had if you draw the standard deviation projection from the manipulation leg, which the manipulation leg is this move up here on the 1 minute, the sweep the high with an SMT. 2 to 2.5 lines up perfectly with the equal lows. These relative equal lows lines up absolutely perfectly. So that was just added confluence, and we also hit the 4 projection. So that was just a really strong confluence. We hit the 1, we go back to equilibrium. And yeah, we also go to equilibrium of this range. Here, we end up coming back to equilibrium. Did we quite get, and we just quite get the full leg. And then this is where I dropped down, and I don't have it on TradingView, so I'll show you on Top Step. The 30-second, we had an inverse right in here. Somewhere in here, we had an inverse fair value gap. I'll just do it like this. This is close enough. So I jumped in shorts a little bit late, actually. I would say like here. And I was risking about 40 points, which is a lot. But my target was this equal low, so it was above a 1-to-1. It was about 60 points, and it could have been a lot better. I'll show the executions. I'll go over what happened. Yeah, so then this was the area. I'll show the 30-second. So on TradingView, 30-second, and notice how I'm only up $50. I'll go over that. Again, I made a $500 mistake today. But this is the 30-second chart. So again, everything is the same, but we just have the inverse. This is where it was. On the 30-second, we swept this high with the SMT. Everything else I was talking about the same. This is just the inverse to show context. We come down, took profit at this low, let the runner go to the further low. So that was obviously the trade, and we have it marked up here. I guess we didn't keep it. So yeah, that was the trade there, and that was that was exactly what happened, why I took it. Now for the mistake, I accidentally took it on practice, and I mean, I don't know why anyone wouldn't believe me, but gosh, I took it on practice, and I didn't realize until after my first take profit, because I was going to check how much I had locked in on the trade, and then I saw that it was on my paper still, because I was taking some trades earlier on demo, just kind of like messing around with like a bunch of full contracts, just kind of like scalping different things, just waiting for a setup. So I was on the paper account, and I forgot the switch. So the trade, if I did everything the exact same way, would have been around $450. That's why I say a $500 mistake, because my account's not up $500 today. So because of that mistake and being on the paper account, we just took a beautiful trade on paper, and we don't grow our account from it. So we're no closer to getting funded than we were yesterday, which is a little bit annoying, and it did cause me to make a mistake at the end. We were just selling off. These are all my different draws and liquidity. So we ended up taking 1, 2, and then we had this third low right here that I end up taking a trade to target. I took it with about 1 or 2 micros, and when we inversed here, I just jumped in with 1 or 2 micros, targeting this low. This low is low of the day from yesterday. Or open of yesterday, so yeah, low of the day, 933. But me doing that was, of course, just being upset that I missed the trade on my actual account. Wanting to press buttons, wanting to make money. It's not a great trade. It's not good at all. We're way too short to be. We're way too far down to be shorting. We're way too just caught up in the trend, and I'm just too focused on making some money and just wanting to feel like I did something rather than just making good decisions. So that is a negative from today for sure. I definitely could have avoided that, and then I just locked myself out of the account because I realized right in that moment that I was just doing stupid stuff and just trying to force money. I don't think there'll be a single opportunity the rest of the day. This was an unbelievable sell-off. So I think after that, it makes sense to see the prices keep dumping. We'll probably just stall here now that we don't have any further to really go down. There's no real reason for price to keep going lower. So that's what I would like to see, is just kind of stall and then wait for tomorrow. We have news tomorrow. What do we have going on tomorrow? We have at 8:30 we have non-farm and unemployment claims. So we'll have a big day of news tomorrow. Hopefully we have a great Friday. But yeah, it's really, really, really frustrating to not capitalize on such a good day. Such a good trade. I literally took the trade. I was sweating it out, nervous, and you'll see. I mean, like, I took it on a micro chart too, which is another, like, again, there would be no reason for me to ever like fake these trades I took. So like, I'm telling you, I took the trade and I thought 100% without a doubt that I was on the actual account up until my first take profit. But I mean, I was literally sweating out over the move. I mean, oh my gosh, I got in the trade late, like all these things that just wouldn't happen if I was trading paper, so it's just frustrating. So I'll pull up the executions right now. And yeah, so here we go. So as you can see, we're on 6 contracts. I'm on a 50K, so I took 6 micros, put my stop loss in, and look, I chased the move a little bit low, right? I waited for that next candle to come in. I saw that was moving good, and I was like, you know what? This is the trade I want to take. There's a lot of confluences here. At the time, I don't even think I realized the internal SMT, if I'm being honest. I saw it after the fact, but that's just why I do these reviews, is because I learn after I do these reviews. I actually gain information. I actually get better, right? Notice my mouse hovering over the closed position. I'm telling you, this was not like I thought I was in the trade. The same emotions I had when I'm not in when I am in a real trade showed through. So that the first mistake is that limit order for the 3 micros to come off at the low is absolutely ridiculous because I didn't get in at the 30-second break, right? I should have got in right like where the price at there. Right when the 30-second closed, I got in late, and I was down an extra $200 from where I should have just entered from, and I could have entered with more contracts. And I'm taking profit too early there. So again, at this moment, I have no idea that I'm in a practice account. I'm really sweating this out. I was risking a little bit too much because I got in late. And we just tapped the 30-second fair value gap to the downside. I was just hoping it would hold. I was thinking about closing it. I was hovering over the X. But then it comes back down. This candle closed here, nice, and then I had confidence in the trade for sure. And at this point, when the candle closed in about 5 seconds, I was hoping not to see a big wick back up. I wanted to see a strong close, and we get a really strong close. We come in with some speed, and at this point, I was then realizing my take profit was way too aggressive because there's just no need for my take profit to be so low hanging fruit. Because if I'm taking a trade, if I'm taking a short here, I have to trust the fact that I'm taking a short, right? I'm not just trying to scalp to take profit right when it goes in my favor, right? Because what's that going to do for me? Just because, if I wanted to, I could just sit there and buy with 20 micros and just wait for the move 5 points and make $200. But I'm not trying to just sit here and scalp $5. Like I want to actually catch a real move. So I think it was the frustration of getting into like a really bad spot, chasing the trade down. I actually entered 20 points under where I should have, which changes your RR a lot. So I just wanted to lock in something because I realized that we could sweep that low and reverse. So I really was trying to be aggressive with the break even. At this point, I moved my take profit a little bit lower because I wanted to capture a little bit. I didn't really expect us to soup that low. Which we obviously did not soup the low, but this reaction scared me, and I was almost upset because that I didn't just at least get to break even, because I was like, man, we're really gonna soup this low. So I dropped to a 15-second. Notice that we have that 15-second fair value gap, and I was like, okay, if that thing inverses again, I still thought 100% I was on a real account. We take my first take profit. I moved break even now, so we locked in around $100 there, and again, we thought we were on paper or not on paper. I check right here, and I realized I was on paper, and I instantly was disappointed because yeah, who wants to take a winning trade on paper? And when you thought that you actually just did something for your account. So then, I mean, obviously, I just let the trade play out. I wonder how I would have been if I didn't take it on paper, but. Again, my entry should have been up here. Right here is where I should have entered, and I got in here. So my stop loss at break even would feel a lot better here than down here, even though it does end up working. But these types of things are just annoying, man. And I feel like these small details have been creeping up on me. And you see right here, I go to the other room to tell my dad that what I did. And then as you can see, the trade starts playing out. And again, it's like I feel like I've just had so many just dumb mistakes that have just cost me so much recently. Like this was a $450 trade overall that I couldn't benefit from because I took it on paper, right? I would have taken this and been done for the day. It would have been a great trade. Because I literally took it. I thought I was taking it for real. So this would have been the trade I would have taken. see me go give the the bird at the end. So that was the trade there. But yeah, so it's just these small mistakes are adding up a little bit, I would say, and it's just frustrating because it's just, I'm trying to become profitable, and every day counts, every risk reward counts, right? I could show up tomorrow and take a loss, and my loss would have been covered completely by today's win and some, but because I took it on paper, I don't build my account. So we had some stuff like that happen on like the first week. Even though this is a new account, but still, we had it happen before that our account would have been up more, and I'd probably been less likely to have blown the last one. I had a week where I had 3 days where I made mistakes, where I got in on full contracts with 5 full contracts instead of 5 micros, where I unlinked my chart, so I couldn't get to the micro chart, so I couldn't put my stop loss in. I was on the new Top Step X. Just a lot of stuff has happened that has just been unfortunate, but it's no one else's fault but my own, and I just got to learn from it. And at the end of the day, we still found a great trade. We still read the market well. We still executed well. We still followed our plan, besides whatever we did down here. And we got better. We did get better. At the end of the day, we didn't make any money, but we weren't going to make any money anyways. We're just now $500 further from passing our funded, and $500, is $500. So that's about what, 1/6 of the way passing the account. I've been a very nice little boost to our account's dreams. But I guess we're just learning patience. I guess I probably deserve it. So yeah, not really too much to go over. This is a pretty clean day. That's how I read the market, and again, some of it happened in hindsight, but that's why I took the trade. And those are the confluence I found after the fact too. Like I realized all this stuff, but I noticed, like I said, I noticed the SMT here after the fact. I noticed, I saw the 5-minute inverse, like all these things, right? That's why you should come back and review your trades and review the day, because you'll start to see things that maybe you didn't see live time. And that's why I do this YouTube channel for myself. It's because I do improve and I do get to read price again and reinterpret it, because when you're live time, you're making decisions, you have emotions, and then afterwards you can step back and look at things unemotionally and say what actually took place here. Again, we just swept out this low, so I have no idea what I would think here. Let's go to like the 1 hour and see. So realistically, we're about to hit discount. Honestly, who knows? Who knows what we're doing, right? We could be drawing to this low in the higher time frame if we start displacing through this low. If we put in a low here and start displacing, then we can assume that. But yeah, overall, I think it's just pretty clear, clean little bit. So this is market maker sell model starting to take place, I believe, is what I would expect this to become. So maybe on the higher time frame, if we continue to displace and respect bearish order flow. But obviously we have no idea. So, I can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow until I see price structure. But again, today was a very, very good day. I'm really happy with the day anyways, but it is unfortunate that we didn't get to capitalize on the great trade that we took. So I hope everyone has a great day. I hope you guys get better inside and outside the markets today. Maybe do something that you've been putting off, and just try and get better. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully you guys had a great day. Peace.